So this just in, a man sprinted 50 yards toward one of the most secured events in Washington, armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives, and a Secret Service agent took a bullet stopping him. So I'm Joseph Morris, and don't forget to like and subscribe. The White House Correspondents Dinner is the one night a year where the press corps, politicians, and power brokers all pack into the Washington Hilton Ballroom together. It's exclusive, it's high profile, and security is supposed to be airtight. This was also the first time Donald Trump attended as a sitting president, which made what happened on the night of April 25th even more extraordinary. So let's start with who Cole Allen actually is, because the picture that's emerged is far more interesting than the initial headlines suggested. Cole Thomas Allen is 31 years old from Torrance, California. He is not a classroom teacher. That detail got picked up and ran everywhere, but the Torrance mayor actually clarified it publicly. Cole is a part-time tutor at C2 Education, a private test prep and college counseling company. His LinkedIn tells a story of someone genuinely brilliant. He graduated from Caltech, one of the most elite universities in the world, with a degree in mechanical engineering in 2017. He completed a master's in computer science just last year. As a student, he interned at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in 2014, working on AI models for mapping planets. He developed an emergency brake prototype for wheelchairs that got covered by local news. He built and published an indie video game. A former high school teammate described him to NBC News as a borderline genius, someone who didn't have to study because information just came to him naturally. And in December 2024, C2 Education named him Teacher of the Month. So this is not the profile of someone who ends up face down on the pavement outside the White House Correspondents Dinner. His voter registration lists him as no party preference, but in October 2024, he donated $25 to a Kamala Harris Super PAC. And then came the detail that reshaped the entire online conversation within hours of his name going public. His bio reportedly listed his pronouns. That single detail exploded. So what's genuinely hard to square is the gap between everything Cole appeared to be and what he allegedly did. A man who went from Caltech to NASA to a tutoring company, apparently spending the months before this night quietly radicalizing online while nobody in his professional orbit noticed a thing. Now let's talk about what actually happened outside that ballroom. Cole did not sneak in. He did not slip through a back entrance undetected. Trump described it on social media within hours. Cole charged a security checkpoint from roughly 50 yards out, running full speed toward the ballroom. Trump said he was like a blur on tape. He was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives. As he reached the checkpoint, he exchanged gunfire with law enforcement. A Secret Service agent was struck, hit in the bulletproof vest, and was taken to the hospital, where he was later released. Cole was tackled to the ground and taken into custody. Inside the ballroom, the scene was chaos. Officers in tactical gear with long guns were jumping over tables. Trump, Melania, JD Vance, and other dignitaries were rushed from the stage. DC police do believe Cole was a guest at the Washington Hilton, which would explain how he got that close to begin with. He faces charges of using a firearm during a crime of violence and assault on a federal officer. The U.S. attorney has not ruled out terrorism charges. Now let's talk about the night itself, because the footage circulating is something else entirely. In the middle of the chaos, people started noticing that members of the press were walking off with wine bottles from the event. Not staff, not caterers, press. The people there to cover the dinner, pocketing bottles while the scene was still unfolding around them. Then there's a moment that sent conspiracy accounts into full overdrive. Footage from inside the room shows a man holding up a card right before the situation escalated. 1 second later, Melania's face shifts into what looks like genuine horror. The man was Oz Perlman, a mentalist performing at the dinner. But I have to ask you, was this some sort of cue for what was about to go down? The timing of that sequence, the card, the reaction from Melania, the chaos, was enough to send millions of people down a rabbit hole before the night was even over. But notice in this side-by-side of Melania and Trump appears calm, composed, some would say a little too composed, next to Melania, who is visibly terrified. Some are saying that he knew what was about to go down and she didn't. And that brings me to the part of this story I always cover, because ignoring it doesn't make it go away. A clip spread of Fox News cutting off one of their own reporters mid-sentence right as that reporter seemed to be heading somewhere more conspiracy-minded.
I want to just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you do a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some...
Sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time. I did want to add this while we had a moment. I was just reading.
So I don't know about you, but it sounds like that reporter was going to say that this was a false flag, because almost like the people around her knew that things were going to happen before they did. Then there's the footage of Erica Kirk being rushed out of the venue. The reaction she's showing as she's escorted out doesn't sit right with a lot of people watching. The implication spreading online was that something about it felt like a performance rather than a genuine response to a terrifying situation. Almost like she's doing what she does best, which is crying fake tears. But the conspiracy that has genuinely broken the internet tonight is something else entirely, and honestly is the one I can't stop thinking about. Back in December 2023, a dormant social media account under the name Henri Martinez made a single post. No bio, no followers, a Pepe avatar, and the post contained just 2 words: Cole Allen. The account never posted again. It sat completely inactive for over 2 years, until tonight, when Cole Allen's name was released as a suspect in the Correspondents Dinner shooting, and somebody found it. Now here's where this gets strange. Cole's LinkedIn confirms he interned at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in 2014. That same year, NASA published a technical paper titled Testing Orion's Fairing Separation System, and one of the listed authors is Henri Martinez from Lockheed Martin Space Systems in Denver. A Henri Martinez publishing at NASA the exact same year Cole Allen was interning there. And then a social media account called Henri Martinez posts Cole Allen's name in 2023 with no other activity before or since. Is the NASA Henri Martinez and the social media Henri Martinez the same person? Nobody has confirmed that. Are either of them connected to Cole in any way beyond the name overlap and the timing? There's no evidence of that either, but the internet has made up its mind, and the posts are spreading faster than anyone can fact check them. So do you think this is a false flag and somehow this was all planned well in advance? Now here's where I land on all this. The conversation this week is going to center on Cole's social media, his pronouns, his politics, and I understand why, because it fits the narrative everyone already wants to tell. But the thing that should genuinely disturb people is the profile itself. A Caltech graduate, a NASA intern, a borderline genius by his own teammates' account, someone who spent years building quietly towards something completely invisible to the institutions around him. The security failure outside that ballroom is real, and it demands accountability. A man charged a checkpoint at one of the most high-profile events in the country, and a federal agent got shot. That cannot be a footnote. But the harder question is the one nobody wants to sit with. How many more Cole Allens are out there, celebrated at work, invisible online, and moving towards something the people around them will never see coming? Or maybe some will. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe and leave a comment, because I try to read everyone.